So wherever you are now, I want you to close your eyes down. Make yourself comfortable. Shake your shoulders out. It's amazing when we move our bodies, the energy that we get to move through our life. Quite often we're so rigid in our physical, and this shows up as rigidity in our life. One of my favorite things in the morning is just to dance it out, to shake off any structured energy and just come back into flow and open-heartedness. So see if you can find that energy in your being right now. If you want to place a palm on your heart space and a palm on your stomach, you're welcome to. And just really breathe into your heart, expanding it out. And deep sigh out. Let any stress, overwhelm, or tension, friction, resentment, be willing to let it go and set it free. Deep breath in. And deep sigh out. Lean back into the knowledge that the only thing that is real in our beliefs and our perceptions are beliefs that align with love. And anything outside of that is a false projection. And we can choose to let it go, to leave it behind. We can choose to stop carrying that heavy burden, that heavy load. We can lighten our load by aligning back to love. Love for self first and foremost. Any perception about yourself that is less than love is absolutely untrue. And you can create this if you're not leaning into that thought. Is there any reason why you are the one person born on this planet who is not entitled to unconditional love? That is the most ridiculous concept. And that will create that reasonable doubt that can allow us to just believe that it is possible that we are deserving and worthy of unconditional love, that is our birthright. And take one more deep breath, and anything else that doesn't align with love, that feels heavy, I want you to consciously set it down, set it free, let it go. And when you're ready, I want you to open your eyes and just be in a beautiful, open-hearted space to receive and to connect in this beautiful community today. Just wow, it has been the most incredible start to the year. I just want to first start by expressing my gratitude again for this community, my gratitude for those of you who just continue to show up, to continue to have faith and belief and have those micro steps, one in front of the other. And one of those micro steps is just showing up. If you just would show up, if your team would just show up, like what is possible is just so expansive, right? And that's when we can believe the thought that the future is exciting. I want to start by having the beautiful Jackie come on and share, because I know that she has had a beautiful, just, and probably subtle but expanding, like awakening and refreshment and refinement, which is what this is all about. And if anyone else feels called to share this morning, so many of you reach out in my inbox and you share the most beautiful, profound stories. And, you know, if you feel called to share with the group, I know that it can really help transform here too. So Jackie, I'm going to hand to you and you can help us set the tone of vulnerability, and the future is exciting.
Oh, I thought you'd question me. I didn't know that I had to just run with it.
Run with it, believe, lean into it.
So for those who haven't met me yet or don't know me, I've been in the business for almost 7 years. So in April, this month I have been on the products. My family have been on the products for 7 years. So we're lifers, we're here forever. And Juice Plus and Kira and this community have always felt like my home. No matter what has gone on in life, this always feels like it will be my home, and I will be part of this community forever. I had two babies really close together. My youngest is about to start kindy, and I didn't realize what that process or that journey would do to me. I was always a go, go, go kind of person. I come from a high achieving family with high expectations put upon us, and not my kind of what I knew I wanted to be as a mum wasn't how I was raised. So I thought that I could, and for some people maybe it's possible, but I'm just going to share my truth here. And I thought I could build like crazy and continue doing Juice Plus at 100 miles an hour like I did when I started, but it turns out that I had a huge internal journey to go on as well, that I had to heal a lot of wounds that I had just picked up from past generations or whatever it might have been, and that it was probably going to be my toughest year last year. So probably about 2 or 3 years have been like, felt like a struggle for me because of my internal battles and how I wanted to show up as a parent, and then my expectations on what I should be as a business owner, and especially someone in network marketing, right? We have to either be doing it perfectly, and it has to be, this out of reach expectation, this is in my head, of success, or it's not really working. It's not a real business. So I had to battle all of those stories. And then I had my iron done, and that kind of made me a new person. And then from that, I felt like, all of this plugging in and this being inspired was actually working again. Like, I do feel inspired again. I do feel like my light's back. And then Kira and I have done the process, the goal setting in the Self-Ignited book that everybody has access to. And for me, I know I need to look at my numbers, and I still do look at my numbers, but it wasn't inspiring for me. And it actually made me feel, triggered. I think the word I used. So instead, we kind of reframed it for a feeling, like how I wanted to feel when I thought about my Juice Plus business, and how I wanted to feel when I showed up for my team and my customers and stuff like that. And I just want to feel good, and I want to feel inspired, and I want to feel aligned. And when we took that away, I have got on and done team kind of catch-up calls, and we've scheduled that. And I had a team member reach out the other day, and instead of feeling that, like, just work it out, like that bit of yuck, I was so excited to help them and guide them through their questions and go from there. So I think for me, it's been like taking it from what other people's expectations of how I should do business and how I should be doing things, and remembering that I get to make it what I want to make it. I don't think it was last week. I think it was a week before, when Kira said, like, it's your social media. Share what the hell you want to do. Like, who cares what other people, if they don't dig network marketing, then they can take a jump and leave. They don't have to follow you anymore. And just to be real and messy and whatever. And the other point of just posting whenever you feel like posting, when it feels aligned. Like, obviously we have to show up. Living the mission is the most important thing. But I know for me, last year I put on a lot of weight because I was exercising the most I have ever exercised, and I probably put on 10 kilos. It's like, this is not normal. What's wrong with me? And there was something like chemically wrong. So fixing that, has that spiral on effect. But I found because of that, I pulled away from showing up, showing myself on social media. So instead, I realized that that's okay, and it's okay to not be perfect, and just to continue, because you don't know what mums out there feeling those feels. And this week I've had 2 pretty good inquiries, business wise. So yeah, who knows?
I love that. Thank you for that share. And I just want to shine a light on something really powerful that you shared. And I forgot that we had that specific conversation. I know we we're talking about alignment, but making that point around, well, how do you want to feel? Because so often we get fixated on the feeling that we're not enjoying. And like, I have that feeling around numbers, right? I'm just like, oh, I hate reports. I hate numbers, right? I just want to go hide over here in creation. But when I focus on how I want to feel and the success that I want to create, and most importantly, how I want my team to feel, then I'm showing up in my joy again. And I'm asking myself better quality questions. And part of that is, who can support me in the areas that I'm feeling challenged by? Am I getting on the right trainings? And am I bringing an intention and awareness to the space that I feel challenged in that can make it exciting, right? Like, it's like, the more I tell myself I hate numbers, and like, I use that language on here so you can relate to it. But what I know is empowering is to language it in a different way, because language is so incredibly important. And the more you get fixated on this structure of, I hate numbers, I'm not good at numbers. The truth is, it's not that I'm not good at them. It's that I just don't enjoy putting the energy there, right? And so I haven't learned to get good at them. I had no problem with maths in high school. I think it's like the mum brain thing, or like, you're trying to concentrate and the kids, and like, we all have those challenges. But when I know that there's a specific outcome that does excite me, that does help me to feel good, then it's easier to show up in the areas that don't inspire as much joy as some of the other areas, because you're focused on your intention of what you're creating. And what Jackie went back to was aligning with service, and that always feels good to the feminine. Mm-hmm. When you're in service mode, and let me know, Jackie, if this feels true for you, it's like, just make the call schedule, because chances are it might happen on a day where on that day you're like, oh my God, the kids are crazy and I wish I didn't make it this day, but I'm already committed. So make the commitment when you're inspired. And sometimes shit will happen. But what I know to be true for myself, and Jackie's nodding, is on the other side of that call, even if it was challenging to show up, the boost in energy and inspiration and joy that you get from being in service to whatever your intention, mission, vision was, is exhilarating, and it gives you the energy to flow into the next part of that momentum. Is that correct?
Yeah, 100%. And if you show up in those moments and it isn't perfect, it actually gives those watching and you talking to that permission to not be perfect as well. Because as women, and in this space where we're serving and helping other people, our vulnerability is what will help us serve others and help them grow more. So the more vulnerable we can be, I think the more impact we can have.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing your vulnerability with us today. When I met Jackie, you only had Livy, right? Yeah. So it has been a journey over those 7 years, right? And so your capacity when we first met compared to some things that happened along the journey, it comes back to that surrendering to the season you're in, but not using it as a way to let yourself off the hook. And it is a fine balance. And that's where being honest with yourself is really important. And sometimes being able to kick yourself up the butt, because sometimes it is a surrender and a vulnerability, because what we resist persists. Like, I know for me, the resistance that I've felt, like I've had the biggest creation wave. I had a massage on Sunday, and for the whole hour and a half, I created a whole new program. Essentially, I've got like a 50-page workbook that I came home and wrote, and I'm in like full inspiration mode. And I've got 4 kids at my house. And I'm like, the internal struggle is real. Like, I am just hating on both worlds because they're competing, right? But what I know is, like, on Tuesday, I just chose to surrender to one. And then the next day I surrendered to the other. And I set myself up for that structure and success in that area. And the resistance subsided, right? So it's like, surrender to the moment you're in, but also create structure where you can show up and be moving in that growth and evolution in micro steps to the ultimate vision. Because your job isn't to create an NMD business overnight. And if you're comparing yourself to NMDs and you're at, that senior partner level, then unless that inspires you and fuels your drive, then you shouldn't be comparing. You're comparing to something that is not in your same chapter or season. And so, those micro steps and understanding that you're committed to the whole journey. And it's that, we call it the 4-year career for a reason. For some people, it's an 8-year career. Like for some people, it's a 10-year career. For some people, it's 1 year to hit that milestone because they have the space to do it. Right? Everybody's world is constructed differently. So be committed to the long-term vision is so important, and learn to flow with the seasons. Like Jackie's seasons have consistently changed along the way. And with each new child, there's like another layer of resistance when it comes to business, right? Not just in time, but in your hormones going up and down as well. Yeah. Yeah. Like, have you experienced that? Like, oh, I'm driven again. Oh, but now I'm pregnant and I'm not.
Kira's like, no more babies. Don't put that out there. We don't want any more babies. It's hormones have such, we don't give them enough credit that when our hormones are out. So if you are like kind of resonating and you're here, but you don't feel that inspiration at all, you're just here because, I committed to this, and it is a pull to get here, like go and investigate that sort of thing. Because I was on iron supplements. I didn't even realize that still my iron was so incredibly low. And within a few weeks of having that, I was just like, oh, I feel like me again. I can think again. I can speak again. Like I couldn't even talk towards the end of last year without not making sense at all. I would not have got on and shared on this. So like, look after yourself. I know you're all doing the naked challenge, but there is actually do it. And we eat like naked all the time, but except when Jared does the smoker, but that's okay.
Us too. And that's the thing, guys, is like Juice Plus is amazing. When we have when we grow a child inside of us, and then if we breastfeed as well, we get so depleted nutritionally, and it's not just from nutrients that we find in fruits and vegetables. And on top of that, stress has a really huge consequence on our digestive system. That's the part of our body that gets impacted, that and our immune system. And disease starts in our digestive system, right? And so when we get depleted, stress, what happens is the blood stops flowing to our digestive system. So then we don't even absorb the nutrients efficiently. So sometimes we need more. And I would suggest that any mother, if you haven't ever before, go and get a full nutritional profile done, because there might be some key nutrients missing. And I relate to what Jackie said, is so much of my self-confidence, my low self-confidence, before addressing those issues was due to the fact that I could barely hold a conversation. I felt so dumb. And I never felt dumb before I had kids. I felt quite intelligent. And I'm just like, what is wrong with my brain? I don't even want to open my mouth because I don't know what's going to come out, and I'm just going to humiliate myself. So I just stopped talking. And for me, iron was one of the biggest ones as well. My body just doesn't absorb it. Doesn't matter what I take. And I do have to have infusions, unfortunately. But I even remember one of my girlfriends, who is one of the most resourced people on the planet that I personally know. And I was so shocked when she said this, because I never in a million years saw her in that light. But she said, like, there were days before she found out how low her iron was, and she has 4 kids, that she just wanted to drive into a wall. Like she just couldn't get through. She couldn't cope. Mentally, she wasn't coping. So if you feel overwhelmed all of the time by things that shouldn't feel so overwhelming, then definitely go and get your hormones checked. I recommend finding an epic, I saw here on the Gold Coast 2 years ago, an anti-aging doctor specialist, and they do your full profile. They give you a benchmark, and then every year you can make sure that everything stays balanced, because especially when you come into your 40s, your estrogen and things start to shift. And that affects your vitality, how quickly you age, sexually, your drive, it affects everything. So get a benchmark done. It is so, so, so important. Thank you for starting with that. That is perfect. If anyone else feels called to share, let me know in the chat, or just bring yourself off mute. On the back of that, that was perfect lead up. I've been creating some new content for you guys, and some content for some future stuff in my community that I'm going to be sharing soon. And one of the things I've decided to do, and in our next 12-week run, I'm going to give you guys a new link because you're going to run out of space in your workbook. You're going to have to print a new one. And I've added a couple of things and I've changed a couple of things. So one of the things that I feel is more aligned and feels good, because women are all about what feels good, is my coach is a man, right? And so strategy, action, results is his language. And we were having a laugh about this. I always coach with him before I come on here. And so I've changed in your workbook strategy to intention. Beautiful, Lisa. I'll come to you in a moment. So in your new workbook, strategy is going to be intention, which just feels so much nicer. And I know you guys were getting confused between strategy and action. So now when we say, what is my intention and what are my actions? Does that feel better? Right? So much better. Richard is just like, I would never use words like that. And I'm like, strategy is just like, oh, I don't even want to show up. Like, it's just heavy. Intention feels fun. So I've changed that for you guys. The other thing that I'm adding, and I'm going to share this because I haven't finished the workbook yet. It's nearly finished. I want you guys to start the month with some specific journaling. And so I've downloaded just the page to add in the group. So I'm going to share screen and talk you guys through it. Where is it? I just need to pop it on the right screen. Hang on. Let me just open it up. Okay. So you guys have been having so many aha moments from your journaling. And I know this because some of you message me when you have these awakening moments from just sitting down, self-reflecting, writing out your feelings. So I would really like you to really bring intention to your month and sit down. What is your intention this week? What are your actions? But I want you to deepen that feeling. How do you want to feel at the end of this month? What do you want to achieve? How do you want to show up? How do you want to feel in your being when you show up? And so I have this beautiful journaling practice that will call your attention to some specific questions that I have found so empowering and also amazing for manifesting the result that I want. So this is how you essentially are going to break up your journaling practice. Obviously, you can free flow journal whenever you like as well. But when you have a specific vision or intention that you're holding of an outcome that you want to achieve, for example, qualifying at the month of February, or creating some kind of culture thing experience for your team, or whatever that might be, you're going to write out what your vision is. Okay, your vision will grow and evolve. So what is the current vision that you hold, right? Micro steps. We're focusing on one of the micro steps towards the greater vision that you're going to evolve into. And then what is your why? So allow yourself to desire. We have been trained out of desiring in our childhood, told that we're selfish to want for anything. It is a need of the human spirit to desire. It is completely natural and part of your being to desire, because your purpose on the planet is to grow and evolve. And if desire doesn't exist, there's no growth and evolution that you're working towards. So you must embrace your innate desire to desire. I think I just created a quote then. Embrace your innate desire to desire. It is so natural and normal. What does the universe want through you? Why? And, when you think about, for me, for you, for us, sometimes it is in the realm of us, and that's okay. It's okay to desire for us. I desire freedom for me. I also desire freedom for you. And I also desire freedom for us, the collective human spirit, and especially women, right? Because that's what I resonate with. So sometimes my vision and my why is going to be in my realm, and sometimes it's going to be bigger, and it's okay where that lands. And then it's your ask. So asking the universe to support and guide you, because you're not meant to do it all alone. What is your ask from the universe? Okay, remember that you have that grace inside of you, and it is okay to ask. It's okay to want for more, and it's okay to ask for support. What is it that you want, essentially? If I knew it had already happened, I would. Tapping into the future and knowing that all possibilities exist in any given moment. If you knew it had already been created, what would you do? You'd relax into it, right? Now, when we talk about your desire plus your vision must be greater than the friction that you feel towards taking that next step. Your desire plus your vision must be greater. That inspiration must feel bigger than the resistance you feel to taking the next step. What I know to be true, because we've done this on this call before with one or two of you, is that if you knew it had already happened, you would just do the shit that you need to do. You wouldn't feel the block of belief, the resistance blocks. So if you knew that it was absolutely done, you're qualified, it's done and dusted, what would you do? If I wasn't concerned with how, I would. Often it's the stress of how, and that detours us from the magic of creation. We get caught up in our excuses of I don't know how, I don't have the right team, I don't have the right support, rather than looking for what it is that you need through inspiration. So when I decided I'm going to be successful in this space no matter what, I didn't know how. I wasn't concerned with how. I just started showing up every day, taking micro steps and figuring out along the way, and things just aligned. Things just aligned for me because I was showing up as the woman who already had it, which was a woman who, what's the word I'm looking for? Not only was I believing in my potential and possibility, right? But I was also showing up, I can't think of the word. See, this is one of those mum brain blocks where my brain short circuits. Does anyone else get this? It's literally like someone pulls the plug out and then it's blank. That used to really throw me. And now I just run with it because I'm sure some of you can relate to that. So you're not concerned with how, okay? So you just show up in faith and belief that you will figure it out along the way. You show up in possibility. That is your vibration. Ignorance on fire, essentially. I love that word. You just show up as ignorance on fire. So getting out of your own way looks like, what is your flavor of sabotage? Is it using your kids as an excuse? Is it, oh, my husband doesn't support this business, which is a whole nother topic we can dive into one day if you guys need support there. Because he has some valid reasons, right, why he may feel that way. But, when we live quantumly, it means that we can see our blind spots and we no longer play the victim to those blind spots. We start empowering ourselves through them instead. We start looking for evidence to create reasonable doubt that doesn't need to hold true for us. And the moment there's reasonable doubt, that's when we can create a shift. Because when you believe it can be true for you, that's when you start getting out of your own way and showing up differently. Who is the version of you who has it? Set your intention of the parts of you you're going to show up with, the kind of energy you're going to set in motion. It's inside there. It's just making the choice. I did some stories on here before jumping on around temperament. And we don't realize that our emotional state, we train it over time and it becomes our temperament. What is your temperament in this business? What is your temperament in your relationships? Relationships are a great one, an easy one to shine a spotlight on, because for so many women, they become the habit of friction, resistance, resentment, frustration, crabby behavior, quick with our words, impulsive, not seeing our partner's best intentions, setting them up to fail. This becomes a temperament over time and we don't even realize it's become our way of being. And then when that's the vibration you show up in your relationship every day, no wonder you don't feel any love. No wonder you don't feel any connection, right? So, who is the version of you? What temperament are you going to bring to the table? What energy are you going to cultivate? What new habits are you going to spiral into to set a new vibration? Create the identity and you will become it. You don't become it by chance generally. Okay. It's more powerful to choose it than to wait for the universe to choose it for you. Because if you wait for the universe to choose it for you, it's usually going to be way more painful and way more challenging because it'll be some life catastrophe that causes you to move. That's what happened in my case. I didn't choose the challenge to grow. The universe chose it for me because I just wouldn't move and become the version of me I needed to become. So I had to do it from desperation rather than inspiration. So I hope that you do it from inspiration. What are you going to release? What can you let go of right now? What isn't serving you? Who are you holding accountable for something that isn't theirs to hold? What excuse do you have in this business? Oh, it's my kids. You know, look for evidence. There's always someone on a call that has more kids than you, more pressure, more frustration, more challenge, right? There's always someone who has a way better excuse than you. What can you release? What belief about yourself? You know, you can put down your beliefs that you hold on so tightly because they're your identity that you've created. But you can put them down. And if you feel scared to put them down, just to remind yourself, you can pick it back up if you miss it. If you miss that I'm lost, I'm not sure, I'm just a mum, you can always pick it back up. But my guess is you're not going to want to pick it back up once you've released it, because you're going to feel so free in your being. What are you going to replace it with? So what do you want in place of what you just let go of? What do you want in place of what you just let go of? What is that empowering thought that inspires you? And remember our conversation last night. This is not, I'm going to try to become this woman, because that try already let yourself off the hook. That try releases you of any kind of commitment. So replace it with something that feels good in your heart, because when it feels good in your heart, it bypasses the noise in your head that says, you're not going to do that. You can't do that. That's essentially what Jackie was sharing in the beginning, is rather than focusing on how she wasn't feeling, which is the I release, I feel frustrated, I feel misaligned, I don't feel inspired. She released that and she replaced it with how she wanted to feel. And that caused a change in how she was showing up as a leader, which created a flow on of energy, cause and effect in her business. And when you compound that energy, we're going to have a chat after this. We're going to work on the next level of that, the next micro shift. And we start compounding that energy, and that causes a new momentum. So what do you release? What do you replace it with? Make sure it feels exciting. If you guys can just pop yourself on mute, because I don't have that screen in front of me where I can do that. Hang on, I just found it. All right. And then what are your affirmations? And this is really powerful. This has really been powerful for me in creating the woman I am today. And that is choosing what you're going to bring to the forefront. It's not about becoming someone new. It's not about, I'm not that woman and now I have to become a new person. It's bringing that vibration to the forefront, because you've been living in temperaments that are in the forefront. The lost girl, the shy girl, I'm referring to myself, the I'm just a mum, my brain cuts out when I'm speaking, and so therefore I can't be successful. It's so embarrassing, right? And the more what we focus on grows. So the more we focus on those vibrations, the more those vibrations become pronounced. And then that is the creation of our reality. Whereas when we choose to bring to the forefront and cultivate vibrations that exist there, they're just a little quieter. Because would you agree that there's places in your life where you are kick-ass powerful? You think about the lioness that comes out if someone threatens one of your cubs. Are you suddenly a badass in that moment? Right? When your partner pisses you off, are you one of those women? I can put my hand up to being certainly this in the past, where I know my voice in those moments. I know what I want in those moments, right? So there are areas in your life where you express different, you embody different leadership. You embody leadership. We were talking about this last week or the week before, with one of the beautiful mamas who shared that she just doesn't believe herself as a leader, yet was it 5 or 6 kids that she led every day? She embodied incredible leadership skills. She just wasn't transferring them to this business. So what are your affirmations that relate to your vision and your ask? So for example, I am bold, and really resonating in that vibration, feeling it. You have to feel your affirmation. It is not simply speaking a word. If it doesn't feel true and light up your heart and cause a feeling, it will not cause a change in your life. And that's where, again, in your workbook, I have the I am sections for you to associate who it is you're going to lean into that is going to help you set in motion your intention in order to inspire you to show up for your action, to create an energy and momentum towards the results that you want to achieve. It's choosing the identity. It's becoming the version of you who already has it, or choosing to show up, as the version of you who already has it. We literally can shift that in a moment. We can choose to get up and read our vision statement. We can choose a healthy, beautiful smoothie that has all the things that we need to fuel our brain for success. We can choose to move our body to create movement in our energy and set energy in motion and excitement and joy and pleasure. When we bring joy and excitement and pleasure and fun to our being, we bring it into our world. So when you can move your body or do rituals that cultivate those vibrations in your being, you set them in motion in your world, in your business. You give other women permission to bring that energy. You can cultivate these feelings. And I love the perfection of how this lined up, because I was just trusting that I would knew what to share. And Jackie's share just inspired everything that I'm saying right now. But it's that she's showing up with the intention, how do I want to feel? And that shifts the feeling in her body. And that is then setting in motion the feeling in her team, in her community. And then that obviously is going to have a beautiful outcome that is matched with that energy that she's setting in motion. So this is going to be the beautiful journal practice that I have been using, that one of my mentors has shared with me. And I've changed it a little bit, some of the language and stuff that I feel is more suitable for this community and for the goals and things that we want to create. But yeah, let me know in the chat what you guys think. And I really, really, really want you guys to grab your workbooks at the end of this call and get really, really intentional. The book You're Not Broken. Yeah, Jackie's been leaning into You're Not Broken, which some of you would have seen I'm listening to on Audible. It's incredible. And that's what Anthony did in the vision statement training. But yeah, after this call, I really want you to set aside some time to set your overall intention for February, and what it is that you want to achieve in business. You're welcome to do I encourage you to do life and relationships as well, but we're focused on business. And then I want you to break it into the 4 weeks. What is your specific intention each week? And just start with that, choosing your actions for this week, right? Let's break it down to those micro steps 1 week at a time, because then you can track and measure, and then you know what you're going to need to step into for the following month. I love that. Love this for journaling, my plan for today. So divine timing. Vision statement alongside these calls have changed so many things in my life. Happy to share if you need sharers. Beautiful. So I want to go back to Lisa. If you want to bring yourself off mute, and I can say, hey, beautiful. How are you? Oh, they're with Baba. Gorgeous.
Yeah, this is Logan, and he's
Hi,
4
Logan.
months old.
Oh, he's adorable.
And he was almost my excuse for not jumping on today, but we're powering through anyway.
It became your reason. It can be your excuse or your reason, right?
This is true, yes. So I just wanted to say that when Jackie was speaking, I can't remember exactly what she said, but I was thinking to myself, wow, yeah, I feel you, Jackie. And then Renelle commented, I feel the same way. And I immediately thought to myself, oh my God, Renelle, give yourself a break. You've got 4 kids. You've just had a baby. And then I was thinking to myself, why don't I ever talk to myself that way? Like, I've got 4 kids. I've just had a baby, but I never talk to myself like that. But I was immediately trying to, Renelle, relax. It's okay. And it brings me back to, Kira, you always say, what would you say to your children in that moment? And that gets me all the time now. I'm really aware of some things that go on in my head, because I would not speak to my daughter the way I speak to myself. So I'm really conscious of that now. So thank you for that. Some other things that I picked up during the clarity calls, the big one for me was between resentment and appreciation for my partner and my children. I was always feeling so much resentment for not getting appreciation, I guess. But I'm a mum. I do everything around the house. They don't want to help, or they don't say thank you, or they're ungrateful, or whatever. And then one of the calls one day was just give appreciation. So I'm just giving appreciation to myself, just patting myself on the back and saying, thank you, well done, Lisa. They're going to enjoy that, or they're going to love it. They won't say anything, but they're going to love it anyway. And showing the kids more appreciation for what they actually do around the house, and then they do more, and it sort of just spirals. And so that's awesome as well.
What we appreciate grows.
Yes,
ladies. When
100%.
we bring appreciation, because when we're keeping score, that's where the problem is. And when we appreciate, then you get more of that thing. But also in yourself, like, that's such a powerful point. We have to hold ourselves. It's no one else's responsibility to hold us. It's a bonus. I'm not saying our partners shouldn't appreciate us. Like, really, that's a reasonable expectation. But if you can hold yourself and make your whole first, then nothing's missing. And then you don't get those irritations and resentments as often.
Absolutely. And I was putting out to the universe last week or the week before, like, I want some extra time to focus on my business. I want to find more time and dedicate more time to the business. And then my boss implemented vaccine mandates in the workplace, so I've lost my job. And so now I have plenty of time for my business. And that's my reason. So this year is definitely my year for the business. I've just done the re-promote, so I'm now on track to have an amazing 2022.
And you know what? I don't always, and I just want to congratulate you for your courage there, because I wouldn't always recommend that people burn the boats and put themselves in a position of scarcity and stress mode in order to create. But sometimes the universe chooses that for us, and it can be the fuel that we need. Is that now there's no distractions, and now there's really a burning desire. Like, now that it's not, well, this is a great bonus, now this is the way. So the way that you show up when you're in that mode, I know for me it was very powerful energy in the beginning. The scarcity and fear around my future was the drive that I needed, because I wouldn't have probably chosen to step outside my comfort zone if I didn't feel that degree of fear. If life was cozy and comfortable, I probably wouldn't have moved. So sometimes the universe will put obstacles in our way that cause us to move. And so for you to really just embrace that and have the courage to go, you know what, this is my time, now or never, and having those boats burned, I'm really believing for you is going to be, in hindsight, the best thing that ever happened to you.
Yep, it's going to be a great year.
Beautiful. I love that. The future is exciting.
It is,
and already creating momentum. So remember to flow with that line of least resistance.
Yep. Excellent. Thanks, Kira.
Thank you for your share. It was really powerful. Maybe we need to add that question to our journaling as well. What would I say to my best friend? What would I say to my child in this moment? Because it is so powerful. We're just so mean to ourselves. And yet we're this beautiful child of God or the universe. Like, you are so whole and so loved. And we need to learn how to see ourselves in that light. So I believe Fiona was wanting to share as well. So Fiona, if you're still there.
Yes, hello, I'm here.
Hey.
Hello. A bit emotional today. My eldest started reception, so I'm a bit of an emotional mum today, but I wanted to share, I'm in such a different situation to what some of the women have been expressing about leadership. So my background is teaching, but I've resigned from that position to be home with my kids. So I have so much to give as a leader in myself. I want to give to other women, and I'm ready for that, I think. There's obviously a limiting belief here somewhere, but I am just so ready to build a team And I have all these ideas for what I would do with my team. I don't know why, I'm so emotional. Sorry, I'm about to start getting teary. I just can't find the women for me. Like, yeah, it's very frustrating because I just have so much that I want to give, and I'm not finding the opportunity to do that at the moment. And I feel like I can envision the team that I want, or like the community that I want to create, but then the steps to that are all a bit of a blur, and there's obviously limiting beliefs here. Probably one of them is that I'm not good at recruiting. I feel like getting to that point, I find when I'm speaking to mums online, which is my avatar is mums, I want to work with mums. A lot of them I'm speaking to are focusing on brand work on Instagram for their babies. So they're putting their babies in all these sorts of clothing, and they're probably getting free products, or they're getting discounted products. And they're being creative and everything, which is great. But when I'm talking to them, like, I feel like they aren't naturally, they're not seeing what is on offer here and the community that we have here. And it's very frustrating because they're just not giving it a go. And I feel like some of them think I'm coming from a place of like that network marketer, that MLM, like, you know, that MLM is such a bad word. I've found when I've been in conversation with women, they're like, oh no, like I have no interest in that. But it's so much more than that. And it's a very frustrating position to be in every time in these conversations. And I'm connecting with women, and they're like, they put their defense up straight away, thinking I'm trying to like scam them or something. And my heart is there. Like, I want to mentor these women and help them build something where they can be home with their kids. And we have that sense of community. Like, I want that, and I want to be a leader in that space. Yeah, sorry, I'm very emotional. That time of the month.
No, that's okay. I totally resonate, don't worry. It's a guaranteed cry for me when I'm in my cycles, regardless of whether life's happy or not. Let me just speak to the Instagram mums, and then the bigger question is how you want to show up and what you want to create. Make no mistake, is that like, that was me in the beginning, not so much like, you know, free product for babies and that kind of thing, but I still get a lot of requests for free product and sharing. You don't make an income from it, and it's exhausting over time. It's fun in the beginning, and then when you realize that you're held to task on what you have to say and how many times you have to post, and constantly creating content, and sometimes not even loving the product that you got sent, but now you feel like you're obligated to. That's why I always say no. And if I like something, I share it because I like it, and because I want to support local business. And if they happen to send me free product, amazing. But I never commit to a schedule of how I have to post. But that's the way that companies have gone. So a lot of these women will burn out their inspiration. It's fun in the beginning, but it's not, for many of them, going to, you know, equate to an incredible income, right? And so when the fun dries up, your consistency of showing up, you know, Kimberly is an example of someone, 50,000 followers, but not a consistent, reliable, healthy, juicy income, just lots of running around posting stuff, like not really maximizing the wealth from her following through that means, through being an influencer purely as Instagram. You know, some of them crack the code. I'm not saying it's not possible. Some of them will crack the code. There's something unique about them. They've been able to crack the code, and it will flourish. But for the majority, they will circle back if you keep watering the relationship. You've got to remember that network marketing is about relationship building, and it's no, not now, it's not a no, not ever. I was a no, not now, which I thought was never. Like, I really thought was like, hell no. My no was a hell no for 3 years, right? And Linda was thinking, it's a no, not now. I'm like, no, I'm a no, not like never is this happening. Right? But it turns out Linda was right. So, but she kept watering the seeds. So Let's circle back to your other question now. I thought as you were sharing, it made me think about relationships, because this is a relationship game. And if you were a woman coming to me for dating advice, I just can't find the man of my dreams, I would say to you, become the woman of his dreams. Be the person you want to attract. And so when you feel like you can't find your people, well, get clear on who your people are and be that woman. You know, be in your heart space, radiate your passion, share your inspiration, right? You're such a beautiful woman, and I can see it feels congruent. Your words to me match your energy, right? You're not here just saying, oh, I want to empower women, but really you just want to make shitloads of money. Like, you know, you're not one of those network marketers. I can feel it in your emotion. And so if you're willing to show up fully in yourself, in that energy, which feels vulnerable in the beginning. It does, right? We have to be seen. We have to be willing to be seen, essentially. And that's where your vision has to be really powerful, because if it's powerful enough and you stand for a vision that's big enough, that's bigger than you, then you'll be willing to stand for it in spite of what people think of you. And the cool thing is, the people who really matter, the ones who do want to join you, they're the ones whose opinions matter, not the ones that are misaligned in their energy anyway. They're not the people that you want to hang out with anyway, right? So why do we listen to them? And when we're being led by other people's opinions, we're not leading ourselves. We're allowing random people to lead us, to lead our decisions, to lead how we show up, rather than leading ourselves in the energy that we want to create. You can create the culture of your future community today, and then you will start attracting women who want to be in that space. What if you hold a women's event and it's just you and one other like woman, but you have the most incredible, soulful, heart-connected fun and time? You feel recharged, she feels recharged, that energy is magnetic, and one more joins you. And then over time, Jackie was one of my first, and then it was Erin. I wasn't even consciously creating it at that point. I was like, oh, okay, I'm kind of doing the business, talk to Adam. But then at the SC level, I really stepped into, no, I want to create this beautiful culture for women. I want to create a community where women feel empowered as I'm empowering myself. I want them to feel like they can come on the journey. I'm not there yet, but we can do it together. And it felt safer for me. We're doing this together. And that's what I see is so beautiful for all of you on the call here, is it's easy for me to stand here and speak all these things because I've stepped into that and I've created that. But what a lot of you missed was the journey of me becoming that. And I guess the code that I cracked very unconsciously and very unintentionally, but you can do with intention now, is helping women see that they could come on the journey with me, that I wasn't on this pedestal, and I'm still not on the pedestal, but I understand that some people, they feel the urge to do that, which I really hope you don't, because I see us all on the same level. We're just in different chapters of our becoming, right? And if you can be vulnerable enough to say, hey, I'm going here, people will journey with you. It's more inspiring to journey with you than it is to look at you at the end of the journey and they're at the beginning. Because some of you do that to me, right? Do you feel disempowered going, oh my God, she's a PMD plus and I'm just a senior partner? That can be a disempowering thought for many of you. Whereas if I was speaking this to you as a senior partner next to you and we were building together, that would feel more empowering to you. Is that true?
I think I find it's more for me, like I look to you as a mentor, and I'm very grateful for being able to even, like, I'm able to chat to my mentor one-on-one right now. Like that for me in this space, in this clarity call, like that's been a huge blessing for me so far. Is this space and being able to talk to someone who I look up to and what you've built around being a mum, which is one of the biggest challenges so far, is trying to build this around young kids for me. But yeah, that's probably more how I look at.
And that's a beautiful blessing that you feel inspiration by your mentors. And I'm so happy for you that you're in that position. For some people, they would use it as I could never be like that. And so just understanding that people are coming in with different viewpoints is that you can create an energy of vulnerability that no matter how much belief a woman has in themselves, no matter where they're at in the journey, they can journey with you, and you can be that mentor. Every single one of you on this call is a mentor to someone. There's a woman that is a chapter behind you and you're a step ahead. And looking to me is too many steps for them. The income that I've created every month is like, I would not have believed it was possible. If I met Linda today and I was at square one, I never, and some of you would have, right? There are some people in this team that are way more visionary than what I was, and probably still am today. And you would have been like, cool, I'm going to be the next Linda. But that they're rare humans, right? A lot of us women are like, oh my gosh, that is so far. That is so many chapters ahead. I can't even contemplate how I would create that. So for some women, it's more inspiring to have a woman who's just one step ahead. And that's the best mentor for them. That is where they're going to find their inspiration. So you are a mentor to someone. And even if it's just one woman, that's a place to start. And then it will grow to 2. And when you can hold 2, it will grow to 3. But if you don't show up to that one person with the same energy, love, and investment and care and inspiration as you would to 50 women, then you can't hold 50 women. Yeah. So it's leading yourself and showing that on Instagram, being vulnerable with where you're at and excited about where you're going. Having a vision that women are excited to join you on. Already start cultivating and creating the community so that it's there when they join. And stay one step ahead. Share your journey as you go, and you will inspire women to come on that journey with you. You really will. It's that long-term vision, sowing the seeds, being patient in watering the seeds. Yeah. You guys missed, like, social media, the bloom that happened with social media didn't exist. It happened as we joined. Linda was a face-to-face, like, I watched her for 3 or 4 years just water patiently these seeds, and I used to think, nothing has happened for you, like, why do you keep believing in this thing, right? And lucky she didn't listen to Neg Ferret me over here in this corner. She held steady and she kept watering and she kept being patient and she kept showing up as the woman who would have it, and she kept growing herself and stretching herself. And she was mentoring women up behind her who wanted to be in her chapter and season, who could see that that was possible for them. Just create a couple of $100 extra a month. For some women, that's incredibly empowering. For me, I've just wanted like some money in the beginning. Like I had zero, I was creating zero income, and $100 felt like $1 million. Now where I'm at, that's not how what I earn now feels like, makes me feel that abundant, right? Like my realm has stretched beyond, well beyond. But in the beginning, I had to start with that micro step. So don't feel that you need to be like your mentor in order to attract women like you. You need to be exactly who you are to attract your like-minded community. And you get to plug them into mentors that inspire you as you're journeying with them. And you get to grow into like that future vision that you have for yourself, and you will inspire many to come on the journey with you through your time. But you have to believe that that is possible for you. And when you break it down and realize that you are a mentor to someone, you do lead people in your life. You're an exceptional leader in many areas of your life. You just need to bring forth some of those skills to this area and believe that it's possible. And I believe we had a chat on our Telegram the other day around, for me personally, knowing your purpose as a woman and what you want to inspire and create is going to be way more powerful in inspiring movement in your business than being a network marketer. Showing up as a woman who's empowered, sharing how you're doing that, how you're empowering yourself, sharing your gifts and adding value in that space, and then just gently reminding consistently that there is a business here if that vehicle feels good to you. But if it doesn't feel good to you right now, you still feel good from the value I add. Hopefully, and I know for a lot of my community, they feel good on my Instagram, in my space, regardless of whether they're in my business, they're getting value. And for some of them, it just takes them time to reach out and connect, just because it's not the right time, or they don't yet have the confidence. And I don't know this, they're not reaching out, so I can't talk them through it.
Yeah, I find ever since we chatted about just focusing on adding value on my social media, that's the fun part of it, is because that's the passion, like the value that we're adding, all of us as individuals, to our online community, like that's through our passions. So I'm having fun with that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the secret, right? You just pinpointed it. If you're having fun, the way to succeed is the way to measure your success is how much fun I'm having. If you're not having fun, then you haven't found and I'm speaking to everyone here, you haven't found your way of doing it that is aligned with your truth. For some of you, that's showing the messiness of being a mum of 5 or 6 kids, right? You can play with that and have fun. It's your truth. You're an expert in that area. You're an expert at winging it at life as a mum of 6 kids or whatever, right? But for me, I'm an expert of my health was really bad. I felt like I was dying, and I made these changes and it changed my world. And now I feel compelled to share this lesson because I come across women who are feeling the way I used to. And I'm an expert in what I did that helped me. I don't need to be a health expert to plant those seeds. And I can do it in a fun way. I love bringing family into that. You know, there's lots of ways that I find fun in bringing community and women together. That's aligned with me. I'm not an expert at events or creating community. I've just tapped into something that feels good. And so I want to do it. And there will be a place that feels good for you in this business. You just have to ask yourself the right questions and stop bullshitting yourself and beating yourself up, because you're so used to doing that. You're so used to looking for evidence to prove why you can't do it. Like, I'm looking at you, and everyone, like, share what you're feeling in the chat. You are such a radiant woman. You're so feminine. There's this beautiful light emitting from you. And it doesn't have, like, I feel like the feminine is attractive when she leans into that feminine. For me personally, I don't aspire, and I'm not drawn to, like, constant, like, we're women, we're going to change the world, and the world should be led by women. Like, that is not this conversation, right? This conversation is about, like, that radiance and lighting our lives up and setting our hearts on fire, and, you know, living our life with passion and purpose, and allowing that to flow into our relationships and into our business. And I can see that you can embody that. You just have to believe it so that you can create it.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You're on the right track, and it's just little refinements. And that's where the tracking and measuring and intention setting is so powerful. This is not equating a result for me, so I can stop expending energy there. It's not feeling good. This is getting a result for me, so I'm going to lean into that more. Is that landing for you? Maybe go away and journal some of those, anything that you felt that's popped up.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, completely. Journaling is going to be what I'll be doing this afternoon.
There's some beautiful comments. So go
you.
and I love what you said there, Jack. Like, what sets you apart, like your uniqueness, like lean into that, because you're going to attract your vibe. And that's where you feel ease in this business, when you get to just be you and you don't have to pretend to be someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Kira.
You're welcome. There was one more, I believe. I'm sorry if I missed anyone who was going to share around the vision. If you're still here, I'm just trying to find Stacey. Are you still on? Did you want to share?
Yeah, thank you. I was just out in my veggie garden. I was like, oh, I hope I make it in before she calls out to me. So I've had, just in the last couple of weeks, I couldn't do the vision statement live. We were away with our family. So my husband's been away, so I did it on the weekend. And I just found it so powerful, even though like tuning into these trainings, I usually watch on a replay so I can make some notes at night where I'm not distracted. But I have found I run a traditional fitness business and I run a swim school with a friend of mine, which is seasonal. And up until now, I've found both of those things have served me. But recently, my swim school has had 24 COVID cases, and it's been the stress of my life, of my business life. And about a month ago, I had all of that going on. I work in my fitness business, and a friend and I do all the admin for my swim school, and I have a teacher who teaches all of the lessons. So I'm not always in and around that. But about a month ago, because all of that was going on, I just had decided that I needed to put Juice Plus to the side and just focus on my traditional businesses. But I just kept coming back. It's like when you decide that, then they release something that night that you're like, oh, I want to do that. I'm a fierce competitor. So I just kept like coming back. And I'm so pleased I have, because it's got to a point in my traditional business where I've really questioned whether some things aren't aligning in my life. So I've just recently made some changes, and I've made the changes after the vision statement training, because before now, my belief system, and I've grown up in a family, I guess, that hard work equals success. I'm from a small country town. The harder you work, the more respect you have, which is lovely. However, I just believe now hard work equals success. But the vision statement really, and I've heard this 100 times, so I don't know why now it feels more now it feels like it resonates, but it's just the timing, isn't it? Because success to me now isn't hard work. I'm a mum. I've got a 6-year-old and a 5-year-old who has also just started school today. But I'm loving being a school mum. It's quiet. It's lovely today. And I've just decided that success to me actually is freedom and choice. And I feel like my traditional businesses in the last month haven't given me any freedom or any choice. Recently, on a family holiday, I was in the caravan trying to sort out a swimming timetable and the new regulations. And then on my husband's 40th birthday, I spent most of the day on the phone to SA Health, trying to work out my obligations as a business owner. And calming all of my fitness clients to say it's not our fitness business, it's our swimming business, has been really like soul destroying, to be honest. It's been, and I just feel like if I hadn't had the tools and the skills that I've learned from these coaching calls and all of the incredible coaching that we get in this space, I just wouldn't know to come back to being grounded, to know that I'm operating in my masculine energy way too much, which in turn affects my relationship with my kids and my relationship with my husband. You know, like Kira said before, is there an area in your life you feel like a powerhouse? Well, mine is at work, and that serves me when I'm teaching a fitness class, but it doesn't serve me at home. My husband doesn't want to be married to another masculine, that masculine energy. And I just had felt way too much rush, way too much stress, way too much reactivity, being really reactive with my kids. And I feel like it's just gone on for too long. And I've come back from the vision statement to really know why, because family, freedom, and health are my 3 biggest values. And I feel like my traditional business has really lately been really not aligning with those values at all. The stress of it has really affected, obviously, my health, I feel like I don't have any freedom. So I've just come to the conclusion that success to me isn't a number in the bank anymore. My fitness business and swimming business brings in more than enough for us to live comfortably. My husband also works full time. And I think if it wasn't for is femininity a word? From the feminine energy in this group, I would have felt with my belief system and my conditioning that both my kids are at school now. I should just be working full time in my businesses, would have been my past belief. But today, I've just been out in my veggie garden. I taught a couple of classes this morning. I'm on here, and I've just reached out to the people in my life, in my businesses, and said, I'm taking a step back. I need some of you to run some extra classes. Is anyone up for it? And they've filled the gaps, and I'm just really feel so much lighter, less stress, and really looking forward to engaging in more of this kind of stuff, more of fostering a happy home for my kids, because that saying that, I remember when Kira, you first said that, like, we are the heart of our home, and our emotional I guess consciousness and energy flows to all the rest of the people in our life. And I was like, no, it doesn't. It can't do that. But it does. It's so true. I've watched it, and I just don't want to be that mum. And and I'm so grateful for having that, I guess, awakening now for my own health. I've been looking after others for so long in my business that I really have feel this space has given me permission that, other women are home creating a beautiful home. I don't have children home now. And I really thought that this would be the place in my business where I would go, 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 go. And I'm good at go, go, going. And I'm not very good at standing still. And I think that's what this group has certainly taught me, that feminine flow. So they're my goals. My goals are around health and coming back to some rest and doing the things I love again. Because when you asked in the vision statement, what did you love as a child? I just don't do any of those things anymore because I can't be present enough in there.
Have you implemented, are there some things from a childhood that you really feel called to bring back?
Yeah, like swimming. I love, like, I remember as a kid, like I was watching my kids in the pool the other day, duck diving. I was like, I used to love that, throwing all the things in the pool. So then I joined in, jumping on the trampoline, even just being present this morning in the garden, like nature, I'm really connected. Exploring at the beach. I just haven't, to be honest, I haven't had the time because of my own choices. Every waking moment has really been about my children or about my clients.
Yeah. And when we put ourselves first, we get to overflow into those things. That's a thing that women need to learn, is to support themselves first so they feel supported in those areas. And, you're so right. I'm just going to add spotlight. The success, and it's not right or wrong. Okay. I'm not attaching a right or wrong. That's totally your perspective. Because it serves us, like you identified that your drive to succeed in terms of numbers and your business in the way that you have, there are many ways that it serves you and would continue to serve you. But there's always an equal downside to the upside. And we have to make sure it's aligned with the vision of our future, the ups and downsides, right? And so that is attributing success to outcome, results, numbers, money is very masculine. Now, it does serve us. It served me in business to create an outcome financially. And in stepping into that masculine part of myself for periods when it was necessary and for periods now when it's necessary, allows me to align with the vision that I hold for success. So it's important that we do that. But when we bring awareness to the flow-on effect and balancing ourselves out and making sure we're bringing the right energy to the right spaces, then we can feel more balanced in ourselves, right? And so for the feminine generally, they will attribute success to things that feel good, which to the feminine is more about safety and freedom and fun and playful. Like, does that feel better to you than like specific numbers and like, you know, like it's more flowing, it's more feminine. And so we do need some masculine structures, because you can't create freedom without numbers, right? Like you can't just be all up in the clouds with these fluffy, like, yay. But the fact that you're now measuring success more by how much fun you're having, by how much freedom you feel. And freedom isn't just about financial freedom, it's about inner freedom. And if you never get a break because business is so demanding, and I resonate to that. We had health studios. There was no freedom in it. You think that you're getting into business in order to create freedom, but there was no freedom. And that's where, you know, you will need to step into your masculine if you want to, you know, drive this business in, you know, different like waves and seasons to get it to where you want it to be. But I can definitely tell you that if you brought that business energy, those skills and that drive that you have over here that hasn't created the kind of freedom you now realize is meaningful to you, if you brought that into this business, yes, it's a slower burn initially, but when you hit momentum phase, the reward and the freedom that you will access from bringing that kind of drive into this space, you will have so much more time and space to be in your feminine in the long run. And it's that's where the real payoff is. And yes, you can create spaces and, you know, awareness and accountability and make sure that you drop in and out of those energies like along the way. You definitely, if you want to create epic momentum, you have to be driven, right? In any kind of business. It doesn't just, you don't just, this whole like, just think about it and it will happen. No, you have to take action, and action is masculine. But what's beautiful about this space is most business spaces cultivate testosterone and masculine energy. Do you know, this is really interesting, and I'll finish and wrap it up on this because I know you guys probably need to run. In corporate, which is testosterone producing, corporate world, high executives, for men, their average lifespan in that profession is 20 to 25 years. Women on average burn out within 5 years, because they're so far in their testosterone. It's not wrong or right. It just isn't innately aligned with their biology. And so living in that high extreme burns them out quicker than what a man can hold that energy for. But the benefit of this business that I want you guys to lean into and feel the gratitude for, because, you know, I think, you know, we really ought to set ourselves free, but we ought to find an environment that supports our feminine energy when we do it. What we have in this space that corporate doesn't is community, is being able to do it in alignment with our passion. We get to do it with fun. It's not about competing and knocking your competitors down. It's about rising together. And most of all, it's about service and giving. And these all produce oxytocin, which balances out our hormones. Drive, compete, be the best, like, you know, knock other people down. That's all testosterone producing, and we can't sustain it. We can do it for bouts to get to where we want to go, but we can't sustain it. This is a sustainable environment for feminine energy. And that's what I love most about it, is I did the drive to get to where I am, and now I get to hold this beautiful community and serve this beautiful community and give and share and be vulnerable. I'm almost always in my feminine now. And I have one of the biggest businesses without having to drop into my masculine all the time. So you can have fun and flexibility and freedom here in a way that you probably can't access in a lot of other business structures. So it's a beautiful defining moment for you, because now you get to really choose where your energy is. We had this discussion last night. Is it good for now, and is it good for later? Because sometimes what is good for now is not good for later, which means you've got your back now, but you do not have your back later. Thank you for sharing.
Kimberly always asks me like a quality question of, but at what cost?
Yes.
So it's successful, but at what cost?
Yeah.
Is it at the cost to your marriage or your own health? Yeah, I think that's a powerful question, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite. What does it cost if I don't do this? What does it cost if I do? Like, it's important to look at both sides, you know, to weigh that up in lots of different areas of our life and businesses. And yeah, for me personally, and what I see for women is this, that costs you less in the long run, and you gain so much more in this space. What a beautiful call. I feel so inspired. I'm excited to start this month on this energy. Thank you, everyone who was vulnerable enough to share. You really served the many by doing so. I feel like this has been really powerful, and maybe this is something we will model through maybe not every single week, but whether it's, you know, once a month or every second week, where we can more have this coaching style chat. So because I feel like if you're feeling it, then the majority of the team are feeling it too. And that's the way that we can serve the best. So thank you. I hope you have a magic week. Set your intentions. I will pop the journal prompts into our chat so you guys can start utilizing that in accordance to your goal setting as well. Your intention setting. It sounds way nicer. Thanks, everyone. Love you guys. Appreciate you. You guys are amazing. Bye.